and Marty went bankrupt and left town, moved to Texas, and I was left in LA with knowing very few people and with no job. So I worked in an animal hospital for 6 months, cleaning dog cages and holding the dogs or cats when they got their shots, and squeezing anal glands, and very glamorous stuff like that. And I was writing scripts in between. I was sometimes writing the script in the dispensary of the animal hospital on the typewriter where you wrote the prescriptions out. And, you know, it was just like a matter of time, and I kept pressing, and finally I became a reader for an agent named Mike Medavoy. And it's half the size of his office, was piles of scripts that had gone unread, but they were waiting for coverage. Because the first thing you learn in Hollywood is nobody really reads. You know, it's amazing how few people will read a screenplay. It has to go far up the ladder with big recommendations before a top executive will actually read a script. And so I was like the first step, a reader. And I was reading 5 scripts a day and writing a 2-page coverage. So one day, 3 weeks into this job, I pulled a script out of the pile, and I'm starting to read it, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And I kept reading it, and the more I read it, the more excited I got. And I finally, you get to a point in the middle of a screenplay that works, and you're going, please don't fall apart. Please don't fall apart. Please have a good third act. You know, please keep up the goodness here. And when I got to the end, it so blew me away that I wrote this 2 pages of coverage. And in it, I basically said, it's one of the great American screenplays. It's going to win the Academy Award. It's going to attract big actors, the whole thing. So I ran into Mike Medavoy's office, the agent I worked for, and I said, I found a great American screenplay. So he says, you know, like, get out of my office, I'm in a meeting. And I'm so frustrated because I know I've got the great American screenplay. So I go back to my cubbyhole. He comes down about 5 hours later and he says, I've read your 2 pages and I've read your recommendation, but I mean, you got to tell me, how good is this? I said, it's that good, I'm telling you. It's just the greatest that I've ever read. So we've only read 50 scripts. What do you know? I said, I know that this is a script that's going to win the Academy Award. That's what I know. And he said, yeah. He said, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to breakfast with a Universal executive in the morning. And I'm going to pitch him this off your 2 pages. If he buys it, we're going to make you an agent. But if he doesn't buy it, we're going to fire you. So I want you to tell me right now, how good is the script? Because your career depends on it. And I said, it's that good. I have no doubt. I said, by the way, if he doesn't buy it, he's an idiot. Okay? But someone will buy it quickly who will see what I see. So he went off. Next, I tossed and turned all night going, what did I do? What did I do? I have a job in Hollywood and I just wagered it on this script. I go, well, the script's that good. You know, and I was sleeping with the script, you know, like I'd wake up every 15 minutes and go, read the scene. Oh, that's a great scene. You know, put it away. And then the next day came and, you know, he's at breakfast with this guy, Jennings Lang. And, you know, breakfast time's over, no Mike. Lunchtime comes, no Mike. You know, afternoon doldrums, no Mike. Like 6 o'clock that day, I hear him flirting with the secretaries as he's coming down the road to my cubbyhole. And he sticks his head in and he goes, you were right, he bought it. I said, see? I was relieved, you know. And he goes, yeah, I don't know how you picked it, but I mean, they made 2 phone calls today and they landed the director and one of the actors off your coverage. No, hardly anybody's been reading the script, you know. And by the end of the week, They had it cast with Robert Redford and Paul Newman, George Roy Hill directing, Zanuck and Brown producing, and it was The Sting. And that's the coverage of The Sting. The first time anybody read The Sting to be a movie is right there in that plaque. And it's, just, those are career-making moments, because then I became the kid who found The Sting. And that really helped me get an identity. Because in Hollywood, you've got to create a brand. You have to be a something, right? You have to be an action director, or a comedy director, or a horror director, or an artist, but you have to be something. Otherwise, you get lost in no one knows quite what you are. And that's been another part of my career that's been confusing to people, because I'll go do Dragon the Bruce Lee story, which I wrote and directed, but then I'll go do the Rat Pack, which is a pure character music piece. And from there I'll go do the Skulls, which is a college thriller, and then I'll go to Fast and Furious, which is a racing, action, high-octane movie. And I keep changing it up, because my hero, culture hero, is Howard Hawks. Because Howard Hawks was a director who did almost every genre there was, and he did it well. If he did a horror movie, it was The Thing, right? If he did comedy, it was Bringing Up Baby. If he did a Western, it was Red River. I mean, the guy could be great at every kind of movie. And I thought, as a director, isn't that what you want to do? Don't you want to be great as a storyteller, and not just, I tell the story of the monster, and this one is about the demon, and this one...